Today, we are going to be analyzing Euro USD. We're going to be picking up from where we left off. And because there's a few opportunities in this one. Normally, I'll be doing Euro USD on a Friday, but I think doing it today is actually it's a good idea. Yeah, so moving forward, I might have to just readjust the schedules of when we talk about certain assets, because some of them are really good and they're worthy of being talked about quite early on in the week. You know, I just got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So with that said and done, right, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Why do you want to do these things? Why do you want to do it? Because obviously this is live analysis, right, of situations that I'm seeing in the market that you may or may not have realized, okay? Bottom line is, in helping myself get to the bag, right, get to the profits, get to all the good stuff, right, I'll be doing my best to point out what I have noticed so that you too, if you haven't noticed them as well, can take advantage of them also. And the only way you're going to be able to successfully to do that, right, is if you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Why? Because whenever I drop a video, you're going to be one of the first to see it, right? Right. So with that said and done, we're going to get straight into it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the volume profile, right? I'm going to adjust the volume profile. We're going to move this around because the one that we have here right now, this is the fixed volume profile, okay? I like this one the most, right? Out of all the volume profiles. We're going to get into the analysis in a second, but I just want to just say this because I think it's important, especially if you don't really know. So the fixed volume the anchored volume profile is what I'm about to add on in a moment, right? You're going to see it's going to be on this side of the screen, okay? This outside of the normal volume profile that I normally use, right, which is the one, because I've got the paid version of TradingView. So if I go in here and I just turn on my, let's wait for it to populate. It's going to take a sweet time. See, it just all pops up all over my chart. Right, so that's the one that I normally use to save me from doing all of this stuff, right? But however, I know that many of you do not have the paid version of TradingView. Why you don't have the paid version of TradingView, I don't know, but many of you don't, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. So my job here is to help you with a workaround. And the workaround, especially if you want to use monthly volume profile, is you will use the fixed range profile, and you will place them on manually yourself, right? Anchored volume profile is what we kind of did in this area over here in terms of how we set them up. But bottom line is, it's not working out because I have to keep adjusting because of all the new situations that happens. So what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this one here, right? We're going to get rid of this one. Just going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of these levels as well because I might need to add them back on later. I may or may not add them back on later depending on what I get. And then we're going to get the anchored volume profile. We're going to bring the anchored volume profile from this high point over here and drag it across, and just like that, voila. Anchored volume profile is on and we can see already what is happening. Okay, so with that all locked in place, we can get on with the business of today, right? Now, as it stands, let me get rid of these ones as well because we don't need that. And we don't need that. Okay. So last week's analysis on Euro USD was I made a couple calls that turned out not to be entirely accurate, right? So I think I called out the weekly high quite early in the game. So I called it out quite early, and obviously the high wasn't in. So the high itself was actually set for us on the Friday, right? So we've got to move this over, pop this right here, and that was the high. So the high was set for us on a Friday, and we also know that the high of this week, providing price continues to do what it's doing, will be set for us on a Monday. Okay, so since that point, price took out starting from this week Monday, price took out the high of Friday, went up, okay, and has come all the way down to the low side, right? Now, when I always mention volume profile to you guys, right, because some of you guys are using it, some of you are not using it, which is fine, right, which is fine. But I just want to show you how effective this tool is and how much it can help you, right, how much it can help you, right, because where volume profile basically comes into its own, where volume profile stands above all the other indicators. Where volume profile sets itself up as the leader of all indicators that's provided to us is when market starts to do things like a range. That's when the volume profile becomes, and this is probably not even the correct word to even use, but I just like the sound of it, right? And I would say the je ne sais quoi. Like, it means what I want it to mean is not what it means, right? But that word just sounds like really good, right? But obviously that's not the word, that's not what it means, but that's the word I use. I use it all the time for everything, and it's completely taken out of context. And as I say it, I know there's going to be some French people watching, and they're going to be like, no, he does not mean that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm doing what the British always like to do, because obviously I'm British too, right? We change it around. All right, don't cancel me. I'm only playing. I'm only playing. Right. Okay. So with that said and done, why this thing is so cool, right? It's because let's look over here, right? We have low value nodes in this area right here. This is a low value node, right? Price has gone into that, and we have a low value node up here. It's a bit large, so this is the low value node up here. Price went into that as well. So Monday price started to move away from that. Okay, so if you was using this tool, you could have just ridden it all the way down to the bottom half of this area right here, and then it would have just worked out beautifully for you, right? Because what price normally likes to do is it likes to swing from one end of the volume profile, the high value area of the volume profile, to the other end of the high value volume profile, if that makes sense, right? So it just swings like a pendulum from one side to the other, to the other side to the other, and it'll just swing until it breaks out down fully, and then it will find another situation and do that all over again, right? So basically, if I grab this over here, and let's just say I move the volume profile here, I just want to see how it's going to look. Because I want to try to get it. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's just get rid of this for now. We're going to use the fixed range volume profiles. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how market will look in certain areas, right? How market will look. So let's just drag it from here to here, and let's see what he gives us. We'll see what he gives us. Okay, so we still have a workable situation, but it's not too clear, right? It's not too clear. That's what I'm saying. This thing is more of an art than anything. It's more of an art more than anything. Because a lot of the times it's it will point things out for you, but at the same time, it will make you work for it. Okay. I think what I'm doing here is mainly more for me, supposing to sharing it across. I just hope that you guys are able to pick up on what I'm looking at. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, low value node area right here, right? Hence why we're having the pullback to the downside, and then we have a low value node area. So this low value node area that we're seeing right here, it's not so clear on the anchored volume profile, but we do have a clear, distinctive one that really does stand out on this particular one right here. This is why I did what I did, and I'm glad I did as well. So at least I've got to show that to you. So now that we know what's going on in this area right here, so I'm going to get rid of this one, and we're going to bring back on the anchored volume profile, right? We're going to take a look at what is happening here. We're going to take a look at what is happening here, because these two can give us some type of indication as to what is going on. Why? Because we have this move that's doing this right now. We have this move that's doing this right now. So that we need to look into a little bit more, just to make sure that we have a really good understanding as to what's going on and how it's basically happening, right? these are things we need to know, and I think I have enough time to get my point across over to you guys. So first things first is we're going to point out the areas of interest, right? Areas of interest. And there's so much I'm going to be able to show you in this one video right here. But first things first, let me just do this first, and then I'll start pointing out things over to you guys. Okay, so we've got this channel up here. So this is an ascending channel that we got going on right now. Okay, and what we have is that price has stepped away from this channel, so price is now moving away from it. Okay, now price moving away from it in the way that it's doing right now is a good indicator to say that price is going to be breaking down. But at the same time, we also want to be mindful that we could be getting an okie doke here. Why? Because of where price is currently sitting right now, which is in the low value node area of the bottom side of the high value area of the volume profile. This has now increased the probability of price pushing up quite high. The pattern says it's coming down, but the data says it will be pushing up, right? At this moment, I don't have enough to say what direction price is going to go in. I can't make a call on it. I just have to watch the situation. So at this moment, there isn't enough data for me to go off the assumption that price is going to be breaking down or going up, right? It's going to be doing either or. All it is that I can do is I will just need to wait for more data to be provided through the coming day, hours and day. So we got what, tomorrow, Friday, for me to decide what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. But based on what I'm looking at, there's a couple things I'm going to point out to you. I thought I had more time, but I actually don't. So I'm going to really wrap this up really quickly, okay? So first things first. According to what we're seeing in this area right now is we have a low value node area right here. Okay, we have a low value node in this area right here. So we're going to highlight this area because this area is now important to us, right? We're going to highlight this area, low value node area right here. Okay. So effectively, if I want to take a buy to the upside, right, because I actually want to get this information in, so at least you guys have it, right? If I want to take a buy to the upside, I'm waiting for this level right here to be taken out. That's what I would want. I would want this level right here to be taken out. Why? Because it would have closed above a low value node area, right? So the level in question is 1.13010, right? Once that level is taken out, I could then be comfortable in looking for buys. Why? Because I would have had a price close above the low value node area, which so happens to sit inside of an FVG, and I believe that you guys have been hanging around me for long enough to know what an FVG looks like, so you know there's an FVG right here without me having to draw it out for you, right? So we know that there's an FVG in that area right there. We also know that this happens to be the area of a low value node, right? So price can reject from this level. Okay, and if price blasts through it, we're going to get a retest and then we can join it. So you don't necessarily have to join it here. You might even be able to join it here if price blasts through it. But these are the things we've got to look out for, because patience is key in this game, right? Just because we see it, it doesn't mean we should take it. We need to wait for a confirmation, and this is the best confirmation I can give you in regards to price basically going into a bullish run. At the same time, this would be the zone that I'll be wanting to see taken out, which is on the sell side, right? So this is on the sell side right here. If I see price close below 1.12085, I know I should be looking for sales, right? Because first things first is, once again, we also have a low value node area. So we've got a low value node area right here, okay? I'll point this out. A low value node area right here. This is where price is bouncing from, okay? And we also have another low value node area here as well. So price is bounced from a low value node area, right? bounced from the main one, which is over here, and now it's bouncing from the second one, and the third low value node area is enough to push it downwards, but at the same time is in position based on the data of the high value of the volume profile, sorry, to push up. It's in that area. So these are the two zones. This is how I will call it, because obviously in the market you can only choose two directions, right? Either you're buying or you're selling. You're doing one or the other, okay, right? Now, in terms of looking for a buy, within this high value area of the volume profile, this is a perfect place to look for a buy, right? Because it means it's only going to go up this way. For a sell, we're in the low value area of the high of the volume profile. So effectively, it can come down to as low as this if it really needs to, right? As low as this if it really needs to. And I'm just saying, if you have anything major taken out, we don't have a weekly low that has been taken out. So as it stands, I mean, I couldn't call it for you guys. I think the recommendations that I've made is the best I can do for now, right? It's the best I can do for now. These are the two levels of interest. So that's how we're going to have to play it. That's how I will play it. I will just be patient. I will just wait, and I'll wait for the moves to appear. So with that said and done, if you stayed with this content up until now, you definitely owe me a subscribe. So do what you're supposed to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Why? Because I'm helping you get to the bag, right? And you want to stay subscribed, you want to have the notification turn on, and you want to drop us a like. Why? Because whenever a new video drops that's going to help you get to the bag, you're going to be one of the first to see it. And remember, in this game that we play, time is everything. The time of when you see this video is everything. So make sure you do what you're supposed to do. And with all of that said and done, I'll see you all on the next one.